Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, the fourth round of the GP4 OC season, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here at Baku, the second ever Azerbaijan Grand Prix that's been on the OC calendar, the second of 6 street circuits that have been on the OC calendar, the third time that Baku will stage around the OC, having previously been the European Grand Prix, even though it's technically not in Europe, in 2016. Circuit located in the country's capital city, constructed near the Baku Boulevard, and is the lowest track on the OC calendar, which is sitting just 28 metres below sea level. Previous Baku winners have been Amarkar, the last 2 seasons, 2016 and 17, meaning Red Bull have dominated in Baku, but the question is, will Amarkar be able to make it 3 in a row? And of course, if he does win 3 in a row, it will mean it won't be all Red Bull dominance, but we have to wait and see. 51 laps around this very tight and twisty circuit, very fast as well. Circuit length of 6.003 kilometers, 20 corners, the lap record set by Jay McKenzie last season, a 1:37.160. And of course, last race was won by Amarkar for Ferrari. Joseph Williams finishing second, meaning he's finished second in every race so far this season. Tyres will be the hard tyres, and the driver of the day from last time out in China was Franco Gamba for a very impressive defence of Joel Hutter after his issue later on in the race to take P5. So well done to him. But anyway, here is the starting grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it's Joseph Willows. Can he break his duck on pole position with Franco Lopez alongside him in second position? On row 2 is Florian Volker for Mercedes and Amarkar for Ferrari. On row 3 of the grid, it is Miguel Ascal and Joel Hutter, the 2 Red Bull Tag Heuer drivers, in 5th and 6th positions respectively. 7th and 8th is Tiravinau Tiranen and Roberto Gamba for Force India and McLaren. On row 5 of the grid, we have the 2 Renaults of Jay McKenzie and Evan Byrne. Row 6 of the grid, 11th and 12th, is Felix Sontag, qualifying by him in the Williams, and Gabriel Gomez, 12th for Sauber, aka Alfa Romeo. 13th and 14th is Roland Moitin, not a great qualifying by him, and Paolino Tomaselli for Sauber. On row 8 of the grid, 15th and 16th, we have the 2 Toro Rossos of Laura Chung and Ines Parachki. Good qualifying by Chung, vastly out qualifying Parachki there. On the 9th row of the grid, we have Kirosima De Rossa 17th and Maxime Titkov 18th for Mana. Row 10 of the grid, we have the 2 Haas drivers, George Roque and Franco Gamba. Disappointing qualifying result for them after both good performances in China. And on the last row of the grid, we have Lean Campana for Williams and Etienne Jones for Mana. So that is the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it will be a dry race, no chance of rain. So let's get this show on the road, shall we? As we are now going to set to head to the grid. And here we go. On the grid for 51 laps around the streets of Baku. And here we go, as the 5 lights are now coming on, as we have 3 lights, now 4 lights, and finally 5 lights are now on. And we're underway for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and actually the lights went off pretty quickly today, and it looks like Willows, has he made the best start into the first corner? I think he's definitely got a better start than Lopez has, and I think he's going to keep the lead into the first corner. Is he? Yes, it's very narrow, but he does keep it. Lopez in second. Car's actually moved up to third. He's been a good start. There's a Williams that went very wide in the background there, but so far, good start there by Joseph Williams, but Amarkar's made an even better start to third, as the rest of the cars slot their way through the first of the 4 90-degree corners at the start of this lap. And so far, it looks like everyone's got through without damage. Williams leading ahead of Lopez in second, who's already under pressure from Carr. Kenzie in fourth as Gallo's going past Joel Hutter for 5th place. Still side by side between the 2 Red Bull drivers. And no, I think Gallo's got the position actually. He's kept 5th position. Good work there by the Hungarian. So far, a clean start, surprisingly enough. But for Carr, it's a good start for him as we look through the rest of the order. Now, Tiranen's actually dropped down a few places as well. Here we are looking on board with Felix Sontag. He was running in 11th position. He actually moved up to 10th off the line there, so good start by him as they head into the first corner. It seems just so slow, really. And then, oh, look at that. So it was actually him, and I'm pretty sure he had contact from someone. So it was him that went wide, and no, it looked like he made it himself, actually. It didn't look like there was any contact from anyone, unless the Renault maybe slightly touched him. That was very weird there. Now here you're looking on board from Etienne Jones in the manor. Let's have a look at him on board. So he's starting through past one of the Hasses, going past, I think, past both Hasses, Roque and Gamba. We've got quite a few positions here. Look at this. Jones from the back of the grid, trying to slot down the inside of the Toro Rosso. He's made it through here. And Jones, what a start. Up 16th, even more places. Look at that. 14th. Up into 13th position. What a start by Etienne Jones from last on the grid. Unbelievable from the Manor driver. Look at that. Just saw the gaps and just absolutely went for it. Fair play to him. Good start by the man of driver. That's exactly what he needs. Willer's already stretching the gap to Lopez, as you can see, to just over a second. But Carr's all over the back of Lopez here for second place. So Ferrari looking pretty good at the start of this race. So Carr will obviously try and make a move down the extremely long back straight. I think the longest on the calendar. Now Mackenzie himself has made a decent start all over the back of Roberto Gamba. Roland Moyton himself has actually made an amazing start as well. He's up into the points. He was 13th and he's moved his way actually past now, turning his teammate Mackenzie, trying it there on Gamba. It's not going to work. That's not a good idea. That's going to allow Roland Moyton to try and make the move behind. They're still going to be in the slipstream though, because I think Mackenzie's still going to have the slipstream off the McLaren as they come onto the back straight, and I think he's slotted back in because I think Mackenzie has the run. Whoa, it's almost 3 wide coming onto the straight there. Mackenzie on the inside of Gamba, but Moyton trying to squeeze his way through on the inside as well. That's not going to go well into the first corner. Who is going to brake latest? And Mackenzie. Oh no, Mackenzie has contact. He's off, and he just avoids the wall and just avoids getting hit. And Mackenzie somehow doesn't get collected and rejoins, but Roberto Gamba's taken advantage of that and he's made his way through. But let's have a look at that again from Roland Moyton's point of view. So he was in the slipstream of Mackenzie. He was trying to get past Roberto Gamba and he made a bad exit through there, but fortunately he still had enough of the slipstream. But he still, look at the speed, 350 k's, that's well over 200 miles an hour, at least I think about 220 nearly. And you see Moyton just trying to squeeze his way on the inside. He wasn't actually alongside, he was alongside Gamba but not Mackenzie. And he went for it into the corner. It was never really going to work. Kind of barged Mackenzie through it. But look at that. Roberto Gamba just going round the outside there. How he managed to keep it away from the walls. That was insanely close. And you look at this again. And there was the contact. Mackenzie, oh, just about avoiding the walls. There goes now Turner. There goes, I think that was Gomez. The Williams through as well. Now here is, as we're looking through, I think Carr's on the back of Lopez. Is he close enough in the slipstream? I think he is just about, I think. Speed is going up. I don't think he's quite close. Just to be a tiny bit closer. Now Turner now on the back of his teammate, but Gomez is on the back of him as well as the slipstream train heads towards the first corner. But now Turner's got a great run on his teammate. He's going to go right past him, I think, into the first corner. Now Turner on the inside and will overtake his teammate for 8th position as they head in towards the first corner. Now Turner's going to try keep it, is he? Nope. Now Turner is through and he's up a position, so good move there by the tyre driver. Now Bernard Mackenzie battling. Unfortunately for Mackenzie, it's going downhill yet again. Through no fault of his own, as he tries to get overtaken by the Williams there. I think that was Lean Campana. Now here is now Turner, who's got a great run. He's on the back of Roberto Gamba in the McLaren. Is he going to make it through the inside, or is he going to go around the outside? Look at the run he's got. Is he going to make the move stick? He's just, has he kept it there? No, Roberto Gamba has kept it ahead of him. I thought he was going to go around the outside of him there. That would have been a good move, but he can't. And there's a huge train behind Roberto Gamba. And Moyton has moved up 2 places. Gomez has made a pretty good start as well. And as we look at the rest of it, I mean, this whole train, I mean, it's basically just one massive train all the way to Parachki, and then at the back of the grid, Franco Gamba sadly last. Carr all over the back of Franco Lopez, and he'll try and make a move, of course, down the front straight. So this is looking good for Willows at the moment. He's stretching his advantage behind him. And Carr, I mean, they're just about enough away from Volker behind, although I think Gal's actually fairly close to him as well, actually. So I wonder if Gal might try and make a move on Volker onto the back straight. We will see as they come through. Carr is in the slipstream now, surely. I think he's just about close enough. Is he? He's just on the verge. I think he should be close enough. He's just coming to the back straight now, and I think if the speed goes up a lot closer, I'm pretty sure he's in the slipstream now. And he's surely he's going to make a move into the first corner, is he? No, actually, I thought he would be. But he's in the slipstream now, but it's a bit too late unless he does a late move. Although he's going to go for it, actually. He's going to try it into the first corner. There's contact. They get away without damage, but Carr has made his way through. Volker's going to pass Lopez as well because he got a bad run. And Gal might try and take advantage of this as well. But Lopez is going to have a run on his teammate and try and get straight back at him, I think. He's in the slipstream, so he's going to try and make a move. Is he a very late one? Lopez trying to make a move on the inside. He's going to go around the outside of Volker, who moves and blocks him off. But unfortunately for Franco Lopez, as he goes deep there, and that could allow Gal to possibly make a move as well. But I was wondering if Carr was going to make it. He caught the slipstream late, maybe a little bit too late, and Carr tried to make it into the first corner. I don't think it was really on. Just got a little bit too close, and just a little tap there, almost like a hit and run, and Carr said thank you very much, and sped away, and Volker took advantage as well and got through, and Gal was there too. Now here is now Turner. Has he finally passed Roberto Gamba on the back straight here? He's just about going alongside the McLaren, and I think this must be the move done. Look at the speed of that Mercedes engine just going past Roberto Gamba, although Roberto Gamba, if he gets in the slipstream, he could try and get it back on now Turner, which he might do. Look at the speed he's got now. Will he get back on now Turner into the first corner? The answer is no, I don't think he did, judging by the way the cameras went off there. Now Gal is on the back of Lopez here. Lopez could be swamped. We have a yellow flag out somewhere. What has happened? Roke, I think, has got damage. So he must have been involved with it. And I don't know who else is involved, because the yellow flag's still out. It's Etienne Jones, it looks like, as he's out of the race. So Etienne Jones has made that such a great start, as unfortunately, and has he done what many drivers have done in Baku? Has he done what Jan did last year and go into the wall? And no, he didn't actually go through the castle section, and it was actually coming out of the castle section. He went wide and went into the wall there. Wow, that's unusual. And then, oh, look at that. Roke, unfortunately, had nowhere to go. The wheel right on the racing line there. Very unfortunate for him. But so far, no crash into the castle. It's coming out of the castle where it happened, and then the wheel, you can see, just on the racing line, right into the path of Roke. And so far for Haas, after 2 great races last time out in China, it's all gone to pot here. And you say Roke just had nowhere to go. It's the racing line, directly on the racing line, that came bouncing right in front of him. Unfortunately for Frank Gamba, he's stuck at the back of the grid at this moment in time as he goes past his damaged teammate Roke, and this could be a nice battle heading towards the first corner. Tick off in front of him as well, as now Tyrrell actually has set the fastest lap of the race, so that is some impressive pace from the Force India driver. Now Tikoff trying to get past the driver in front of him. I think, is that the Williams, I believe? I'm not sure. I think it is the Williams of Campana. And Tikoff is alongside, and I think he's going to make the move into the corner, into turn 1. And the answer is yes, he is, and I think Gamma might make his way through as well. Will he? No, not quite. And so he has to wait for the next straight, really, unless he can make it here. I don't think he's quite close enough. I think I've just seen Moitin has got past Roberto Gamma as well. Now Campana are going to try and get back at Maxime Tikoff. As you try and go around the outside here, this is surely not going to work, as the corner is a left-hander, and it isn't. It goes wide as Roke finally comes out of the pits, and that black hole is still there, it seems, from last season. But as we look, Gal actually has got, I think Gal has got past actually Franco Lopez, so Gal is up into P4. So Lopez unfortunately just doesn't seem to have any pace. Now Gomez is on the back of Roberto Gamma. There's a big gaggle of cars behind Evan Burns as well. He's got Sontag behind him, Jay McKenzie and Tomaselli, and one of the Toro Rossos. I believe it's Laura Chong on the back, in the Toro Rosso, right on the back of this gaggle of cars. Now Gomez, as you can see, is all over the back of Roberto Gamma, who once again is struggling and is falling down the order. And Gomez is surely going to make a move on the back straight as Roberto Gamma defends coming into the final corner. And now here we go, well, I say final corner, coming onto the isn't straight. Kudos if you get that reference. As now Hutter is on the inside and is just steaming past Franco Lopez, and look at that, goes right past the Argentine driver, and he moves up into P5. So unfortunately for Franco Lopez, just got no pace, although I think the fuel wise it's pretty heavy. And this was Nicolas Gao actually overtaking Lopez previously, that we didn't originally see live. Of course this is the replay of him getting past, and of course deja vu happens a couple of laps later as Hutter goes past him as well. But as I said, Lopez, I think he's got heavy fuel loads, so I think that's why he just doesn't have the pace compared to the others. And you can see just the go past him like he's not there, but I think Lopez is just letting him go through and doing his own race really. He's got a comfortable gap behind him to now turn. I say comfortable. It's only a few seconds, and now here's Campana and Titkoff battling once again at the back of the field, and I imagine Frank Gamba is still there as well as they come through. And of course Campana's lost ground there, so looking at Franco Lopez coming through the castle section. And he's dropping behind Gao a little bit, but as we're seeing him come through, and does he make a mistake here? Goes over the curves a little bit, makes a little error there. So fortunately he doesn't go, the curves don't launch him into the wall, but I mean this castle section can really bite on this circuit, as we've seen before. Now here is Tomaselli on the back of Felix Sontag in the Williams. This is the battle for 12th. Tomaselli is on the inside of the German, and he's going to make the move for 12th, is he? Unless Sontag can hold it around the outside, which he is going to attempt to, and then have the inside for the next corner. But Tomaselli has got the run round there, and he makes the move stick. So now Sontag has got the Renault behind him of Mackenzie. The field's starting to space out a little bit more now, but Gomez, see, obviously up into 9th. Carr in 2nd, still a few seconds off Willows, about I think 3 seconds nearly. And as we look at him coming through down into this left-hander, I generally don't like that corner personally. I mean, track-wise, it's an okay track, I guess. So it's good for overtaking, it's good for slipstream, which of course, and overtaking, which is very good. I mean, we all want overtaking. Now here we go as we look at Carr coming through the isn't straight now onto the actual straight. In second, Volker in third at this moment in time. Doesn't look to be getting close to him. Now here is Byrne once again trying on the back of Roberto Gamba, who is again really struggling for pace, it seems. He's unable to make the move there, but I think he might still be in the slipstream, and I think he could still make the move towards the first corner. I think Byrne is right there, and yes he is. Byrne on the inside of Roberto Gamba, and this should be a pretty easy move. And if you look at the gap, Willers and Carr, it's about 4 seconds. Byrne through on the inside and is up into 10th position. And he gets the move done before turn 1, although Roberto Gamba might try and make it back on the inside. And he's going to try, but I think Byrne has got it, and yes he has. And he's through up into the final point position of 10th. So there we go. He's up in 10th position, finally past Roberto Gamba, who's again just falling down the order. And now they'll have Tomaselli behind him. Now meanwhile, Mackenzie's all over the back of Felix Sonntag in the Williams, and is he going to try and make it over the inside? I mean, I was going to say, if he tried it there, it was just not going to work. There's just no room, really, for two cars, a German and a Pole. You wouldn't, yeah, I mean, a certain amount of years ago, you wouldn't say that they'd be racing together or trying to make moves on each other. But as we look at, I think that is, yep, that's Carr. Gap to Volker is about nearly 2 seconds. He's got the edge of a Volker at the moment. Look through the rest of the field. I mean, it's all evenly spread out, really. The Red Bulls are spread out. Willers is spreading out from his teammate. It's all very spread out, really, so far in the field. You can see the gap is going up at the moment. Willers has got a fairly light fuel load, so I think he'll be doing the 2-stop. I think it's going to be a mixture of people. And whoa! And Franco Gamba has just lost it coming out of the castle section there, and I think he's done. I'm pretty sure he had a problem there. And that is his race over. I think to see a replay of that, because that was a very interesting. And it was a throttle actually, so that's why screwed his car up and went into the wall. You see, actually the problem happened just before he came into the castle section. And then obviously it just jammed open coming through the corner here. Look at that, and then it just spins right into the wall. That's definitely a very interesting way, really, of retiring there. You see coming through, and then look at that, just the throttle goes on him, and then he goes into the wall, and that's his race over. Definitely one of the most unique ways of retiring from a Grand Prix that I've ever seen. So yeah, there we are. See him just going around into the wall, and yep, that is his race over. But I don't think I've seen. It's quite amusing that it's just going around and then goes, and then there we go, into the wall. That's it, done. So there we go. So now Roca actually about to go past a stricken teammate, who he'll now be. I think that was actually the first retirement of the race. I think it was. As you know, it wasn't. It'll be the second because of Jones. And here is Tomaselli going past Roberto Gamba in 11th down the front straight. Roberto Gamba will try into the first corner. Not going to work because well, hold on. Actually, will it? No. Yes. No. It doesn't. And oh, I think Mackenzie has finally got past Felix Sonntag. Taking him a few laps, but he's finally done it, and now he'll be able to go after Roberto Gamba, and he'll just pass him pretty easily, I would imagine. So as we look through, as De Rossa's actually right behind Sonntag as well, so De Rossa might make his way past Sonntag into the next corner. He's on the inside. Is this the move done? I think it is. He's got the run off the corner. Sonntag will hold it around the inside, but De Rossa will have the run around the outside, and yep, Sonntag backs off, and De Rossa's through. Just like that. Bob's your uncle. So there we go. So unfortunately, Sonntag losing a couple of places there. So we look at Carr once again, looking at Volker, looking at the two Red Bulls, just distance from each other. Not too much action, I have to say, happening at this moment in time during this race. As here we're looking actually at De Rossa, who's now passing his teammate, Roberto Gamba, down the front straight, heading towards turn 1, as Rudder Boyden actually is in the pits for his first stop of the race, so I guess he must be on light fuel. And he does do it, De Rossa. So he's up into what is now P13, as it got very close there into the first corner. That could have been quite sketchy, but there we are. So the gap was cast. It's pretty much stayed about 3.9 seconds, and Carter Volker's stayed at just about 2. So as I said, they're just all evenly spread out, particularly at the front. Moigin's come out of the pits in clear air, as we just saw Roke coming down the front straight there. So look at the rest of the order. It's all very evenly spaced out. As now Tyrrell is actually on the back of Franco Lopez. He's actually caught up to him now. His fuel is fairly light as well, so I wonder if now Turner could go past Lopez here. This would be this wouldn't be great for Lopez, really, showing how look at the run that now Turner's got there off the corner. Just so much quicker than Lopez there. So Lopez must be really struggling with tyres, with grip, And now Neratin is going to go past the Mercedes like he's not there, coming on to the front straight. And look at that. Look at the speed Neratin had. I mean, he had set the fastest lap in this race, Neratin, actually. I don't know if he still has it, but showing that he clearly has some pace in that car. I mean, I was wondering if he was still going to be on the grid for this season, because he was quick last year, but he had a huge amount of bad luck. I mean, yeah, I think that's why he's probably kept on, because he definitely did perform very well last season, but he did just enough. Let's say I think he did just enough. So as we look now at Lopez, who's now following him, as now Sontag I think has been overtaken by Lean Campana. Sontag is also falling down the order, it seems, but he's on the one stop. So there we are. So Willows, the gap's car, as you can see, is 4 seconds. And this was obviously Sontag letting Campana go. The first corner, locking up a little bit Sontag as well, struggling probably on those tires. He needs to get them a long way if he wants to make this one-stop work. So here we are once again looking at Willows, the gap, about 4 seconds. It's just going up ever so slightly. And as we look through the rest of it, there's Chung, there's Parachki. We're looking at Campana, who's now all over the back of Roberto Gamba, who seems to be all over the place, really. I think he's very much struggling with his tyres. And actually, there was a car in the pits. I thought I saw someone. It was Paolino Tomaselli who's in the pits, so that's his first pit stop of the race. Now here is this is Campana trying to get past Roberto Gamba. He's on the inside. This is going to be the move done surely, and Campana is up into 12th position. A good move there by the American De Rosa. He's just really struggling. Is the McLaren car once again? I mean, the gap to Volker's just stayed about the same for quite a while now. It really has. And as I said, I mean, I don't really know what to say. There's just not that much happening at the front. As Roberto Gamba goes into the wall, into the first corner, and that pretty much sums up the way his race has been so far. He's going to rejoin, but he's going to have to pit for a new front wing, and he has to wait for the cars to go by there, which he does. So very unfortunate there for him, but it's been a terrible race for him, really, and that's just summed it up going into the wall of turn 1. Just locked up, went way wide, and will probably want to fly better, or i.e., yes, fly better, but with a better car. So, as he reverses onto the track, and he has to wait for the cars to go by, but sadly, a terrible race for him. Now, this is Roland Moichin. From his pit stop, is passing Maxim Titkov for 16th, what will be 15th, because Lean Campana is in the pits. Moichin just trying to get enough speed on the manor. Down the front straight, he should be on the inside now. He's going to dive bomb into the first corner, and no, actually can't get through there. He's got to do it quickly though, because Tomaselli has pitted as well, so he'll be on his back pretty soon too. And as we look at him coming on to the second straight here, and surely will Moichin try and make a move on the inside. He's in the slipstream, he's much quicker than him, but Titkov is not going to let him through, it seems. He's really going to battle it out, and Moichin goes wide there. So here we are looking. It's really cool actually seeing all the cars just going past each other there, because the wall just separating the two sides of the track. Cars got, I believe that's Roberto Gamba to lap. Here's Moichin, who's once again trying it on the inside Titkov, and he does finally do it. Titkov locks up, so makes a little mistake, and that finally allows Moichin through, and that's good because Tomaselli was coming up to them as well. And now, speaking of Tomaselli, he is now on the back of Titkov, and he's now going to try and make a move on the inside. He's just about, no, he's not quite alongside, hasn't quite got the speed. I think Titkov's just about got the hold of Tomaselli, heading towards the first corner. Roke's just behind in the distance there. Tomaselli going to try it once again into the first corner, not going to work. And so Tomaselli's going to have to wait until the next straight. And actually, here's De Rosa, who's going to come up behind Tomaselli. Oh, and actually behind Roke, actually, who's caught up rapidly to these guys because they've been holding each other up throughout the straight. So here we go. Tomaselli is in the slipstream with Titkov, but I don't know if he's quite close enough to make a move into the corner, and the answer is he's not. So they have to wait now, so this could be a nice battle here brewing. This is between these four drivers. Actually, Joseph Willers is now coming into the pits for his first stop of the race. I think it's going to be, looks like a two-stopper, I would say, for him. And there we go. As we're looking at Willers coming into the pits for his first stop of the race, and Amar Kar, his teammate, will take the lead. So Willers has had a very easy race so far. This could be the race where, of course, he finally gets that win that he's been after. So far, 3 races, 3 second places. And yeah, no one wants to be silver 3 times. And actually, look at that. Gal just coming into the pits there as Willers is coming out. The absolute timing of that was just perfection. Milos Gal in for his first stop of the race for Red Bull, and now Tyrrell is in for his first stop for Force India as well. So Gal comes out behind, I think Gabriel Gomez, I think Willows might do as well. It's going to be interesting because I think a number of trials are going to be doing a 2-stop, because there's just no point doing a 3-stop here. It's either going to be a 1 or a 2-stop here in Baku, and I mean, it's going to be interesting to see which one works really. So Willows is obviously going to be on the 2. Carr probably is going to be on the 1, I would think, unless he decides to do the same. Now Tyrrell's come back out in 10th. As we look through the orders, here's Roke trying to get past the salvo of Tomaselli down the front straight side by side between the two as they head towards the first corner. Roke on the inside of the Alpha, and is he going to make it through? The answer is he does, and he's up another position as he's actually going to be pitting the next lap. So he moves up to 16th, but he'll lose that almost immediately as he pits. Byrne is in the pits for Renault, and where is he going to come out? The helmet, of course, matching his car as well. He's in 13th position, a lucky or mainly an unlucky number for some. Comes up behind Enis Brachki. He comes out ahead of the Force India of Mojin though, which is important. Carr, I mean, he's going to be pitting soon, so I think maybe the 2-stop? I'm not sure. I mean, would he go to the end on the 1? I think it's going to be very interesting to see if he does. Gap to Volker, about 2.7 seconds. The gap to Volker's gone up just gradually, slowly but surely. But I'm not sure actually whether Carr will try and go on the 1-stop or not. It could be very interesting to see if he does. I don't think he'd have enough to go on the 1-stop really. 10:23. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But Hutton's actually coming to the pits for Red Bull. So we'll see, will he go to the end or not? As into the pits he comes. So let's see, fuel wise, and let's see what he comes out with after his stop. So in he comes. And so he comes into his pit box, and how much fuel do they put in? Is that enough to go to the end? No, it isn't. Pressure. That's not enough to go to the end. So Hutter will be doing the 2-stop as well. So there we go. So Hutter coming out of the pits, and let's see where will he come out onto the circuit. In, it looks like 6th position. Nope, 7th behind Jamie Kenzie, ahead of his teammate Gal though, which is important of course for him in that battle. So Hutter stays ahead of Gal, although I think was actually Gal ahead. I think Gal might have been ahead actually. So if he was, Hutter may have jumped him actually, if my memory serves me correctly. I could of course be wrong, but as we're looking at Armor Car once again leading this race, I don't know what the gap is actually. How far away is Willers? Unfortunately I didn't quite catch it there. Went off the screen unfortunately. And so as we look through the rest of the order, there's Byrne obviously after a stop, Tomaselli. I have to say, it's not been a particularly exciting race, I have to say. We've definitely had better. De Rossa is in the pits for McLaren for, I believe, his first stop of the race. Looking at Volker right now in P2. At the moment, it looks like Carr does have the edge over him. As we're just about at the halfway point, just a few laps, and we will be at the halfway point. So I think, yeah, a couple of laps time we will be at the halfway point really. Here we are looking at De Rossa. So actually this wasn't a planned stop of course, because I think he had pitted. And it was just coming on to the front straight, and he suffered, I think, a mechanical problem. It's a throttle issue actually, so the same as what Franco Gamba had, but fortunately the pits were right there, so that was a relief for him. So he's come in and we'll get that problem fixed, but unfortunately for McLaren, it's gone from bad to worse for them. That's all we can really say about their race. It's just not gone very well at all. So now this is Armor Car, the leader, who's going to be coming to the pits on this lap. But unfortunately, he's got traffic ahead of him. I think this is Titkoff and De Rossa that are in front of him, and he will need to get past them ASAP because that will allow Volker to close up, and he already is actually down from what was a 2.8 second gap to 2.6 as they're coming through the castle section. The worst part of the track really to catch them. So this isn't good for Carr. And unfortunately these two are battling in front as well, which is not really helping his case, so he's probably really cursing under that helmet, wishing these two would get out of their way, because obviously he is in a battle for the win to try and take it away from his teammate, as he's now right behind these two drivers. He's now trying to go past De Rossa, and whoa, that was very, very sketchy. He finally does go around the outside of De Rossa. That's going to allow Volker to catch up. I don't believe he's pitting this lap, Volker, but I imagine he'll pit next lap. But as we're looking at Carr heading towards the pits, he's actually about to catch up to the car ahead of him, but he'll go into the pits anyway, so it won't matter. But I wonder if De Rossi will get some slipstream off Carr as he heads towards the pits. He'll move over to the left right about now. And there we go. Into the pits he goes. His first stop of the race. So Volker obviously carries on. So will Carr go to the end of this race is the big question. This is the $1 million question. Will he go to the end? If he does, then that will probably win him the race, I think. And yes, he does actually. He is going to go to the end. So very, very interesting indeed. He does go to the end of this race. And Willis is going to have to pit again. So he really needs to put the hammer down and do some good laps, because Carr won't be pitting again. Although Carr will be quite weak at the end on those tyres. Willows does take the lead back, and actually it's extended by a fair bit. And actually he might come out behind Joel Hutter here. And will he? And the answer is yes, he does. So Carr comes up behind Joel Hutter here. But I mean, he does have the advantage. But that's going to be interesting to see. I imagine Volker, if he doesn't pit, well, I imagine he's got to go to the end as well. So surely they won't do the two-stop stage. If they do, then they've made a real mess up of this. So, and the answer is yep, I think that's going to the end. So Volker is going to the end. So it's looking at like a pretty good advantage for Carr and Volker right now, I have to say. Well, as long as Carr doesn't get stuck behind Hutter for long. So Lopez temporarily does lead the race. He will, of course, be in the one-stop as well. Gabriel Gomez at the moment up into second position for Sauber, but of course he will have to pit. But he'll definitely enjoy being running this high in the OC, that's for sure. And Volker actually comes out just behind Carr, who did he pass actually Hutter? I don't think he did actually. No, he didn't actually. So he did actually drop a bit behind, but crucially for Carr, he stays ahead of Volker. So that was actually very close, very, very close indeed. But as I said, Lopez leading this race, looking at Jay McKenzie, going past his teammate Evan Bird, heading towards turn 1, side by side between the two black and yellow cars. The pole versus the Irishman, and the pole wins. And McKenzie up into 11th position. So there we are, moving up just outside of the points. And now McKenzie's actually on the back of the car in front of him. I couldn't quite see who it was unless it's a lap car. But Byrne just about still in the slipstream. And McKenzie did try and make a move there, but he was never going to get past, I believe it's the Toro Rosso in front of him of Parachki. That is for 10th position. So there's still a few cars I think yet to make a stop. Actually, Gabriel Gomez is going to be pitting this lap for Sauber, so he's done an exceptional job actually on that strategy. Up into second, he'll be pitting, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out on the circuit. Willows will of course pass him, as he does have to go into the pits. So looking at Gomez on board with him, just heading towards the pit entry, which is coming up in a few seconds. It probably must feel like an eternity really on this circuit, as Willows is going to go see Gomez jink to the left, and there we go. And now Willows is free, and he really needs to get the hammer down now, because there is Carr. He's not that far away, and unless he gets the gap up rapidly in the next few laps, then Carr is probably going to be the favourite to win this race. Apart from, well, Volker's still there, of course. Volker could still win this. McKenzie now all over the back of Parachki once again. This is the battle for 10th position, and he's got to be careful because his teammate is there as well. So this could be 3 wide possibly, maybe onto the front straight here. So McKenzie trying to get past Parachki. He's going to move to the inside. Byrne is going to be in the slipstream as well. He might try and make a move as well if McKenzie can't do it. So here we go, McKenzie on the inside. Byrne is going to be right there in the slipstream. And will he try and go around the outside of McKenzie here? McKenzie's not got the run. I think Byrne might try and get around the outside of him here. And the answer is he can't quite do it. And McKenzie once again can't quite get past Parachki. So they held up once again. They're going to try on the back straight here, round turn 2. And are they close enough? Actually, Moyton's going to be pitting, I think, this lap as well. So McKenzie's going to try it on the inside of Parachki, side by side. Will this be the move for Jay McKenzie? He's on the inside, and he's got it done. He's up into 10th position. So Parachki finally overtaken. He'll be pitting soon as well. Now here we are looking at Gabriel Gomez, who is on the back of, this is Felix Sontag actually, in the Williams. He's going to go past him pretty quickly, and look at that, goes past him just like that. So he's now up into what is a legitimate 8th position. So far for Gabriel Gomez has had a good race. Felix Sontag himself actually is going to be pitting this lap on, I don't actually believe, actually has Sontag pitted yet? I don't think he has actually. I'm pretty sure he hasn't actually, Sontag. So he is on the one stop as well. So it's definitely an interesting race here with so many drivers on either the one stop or the two stop. It's definitely very interesting. There's nearly half are probably on the one, but I think, well, I'd say probably about half on the one actually, probably more than half. And there are a few that are on the two. but Sontag is now in. He will of course go to the end. He was being overtaken left, right and centre, Sontag, but of course he was sacrificing himself because he'll be on much fresher tyres than a lot of the guys around him, well, for the next few laps anyway, but towards the end, because it's obviously not that easy to overtake, apart from the front straight, of course, but let's not, let's not talk about that. But apart from that, around the rest of the circuit, it's not that easy to overtake, really. Sontag will come out, I think, in P13, ahead of George Roque in 14. P14. So now Franco Lopez is going to come in for his final stop of the race. And the crucial thing for him as well, of course, I think Lopez actually is on the one-stop, so Lopez actually might... I mean, I think Willows might not even finish on the podium here at this point, because Lopez, this is his only stop as well, and Willows will be pitting in a few laps' time as well for his final stop. But so Willows will now take the lead, and Franco Lopez relinquishes the lead as Willows now goes past, but I don't think Willows might even get on the podium here. I really don't think he will, because I don't think this has worked out for him. Because the pace has not necessarily been there. So Lopez will go to the end, of course, on this strategy. So there we go. He's going to be down the order in 7th, but of course many drivers around him will be pitting, so he'll get, I think, in the top 5. So as he comes out, there's a big gap actually to Gabriel Gomez, so he'll have plenty of fresh air, as the top 7 will clear of the rest of the field. So Franco Lopez will have plenty of clear air just to actually put the hammer down for the rest of the race, really. So we'll see how he does. And actually, here we go. It is interesting, actually, because Joel Hatter is actually stuck behind Willows and comes into the pits right behind him here. So that will allow, I think, Carr to take the lead of this race. So there we are. So Carr leads, Volker is second, and I think that's probably going to be the order at this point. Now, a pit stop battle between Red Bull and Ferrari. Who is going to win? Will it be Willows or will it be Hutter? And Willows has got out still ahead of Hutter, so that is important for Joseph Willows. But as I said, what looked like to be a pretty promising victory for Willows is not going to turn out that way, because and actually Lopez is going past them as well. So Franco Lopez, of course, is going to be ahead of them as well. So unfortunately for Willows, it's not really worked out as well as he'd hoped it would. Now Terran is in, so Carr leads ahead of Volker. I don't know if Gal has to make another stop or not. If he doesn't, then Gal actually could be on the podium. But if he does, well, actually no, Byrne will have to make a stop. Actually, Willows, I think Willows will still might be actually on the podium. So, yeah. So we're looking at now Tiernan in the pits for his final stop of the race, and out of the pits he comes. And so let's see where he comes out in the circuit. He's going to come out, it looks like, in actually behind Gabriel Gomez, actually. So Gabriel Gomez is up into 7th position at this moment in time. So Gabriel Gomez, I have to say, credit to him, has put in a pretty good performance. Now here is Volker, who is only 1.5 seconds behind Cars. He's had to deal with this traffic, and now Titkoff is going to try and unlap himself, and actually Gal did have to pit, and actually he's going to try and unlap himself in Titkoff. That's going to play into the hands of Volker, although he's still got to get past the McLaren in front of him as well. But as I said, Gal pitting for the final time, and he'll be on the freshest tyres out of the top 6, so we'll see how well he comes back towards the end. Volker trying to go around the outside of the McLaren here. It's a very dodgy corner to lap a car on, but he's done it. Fair play to him, but he's lost a lot of ground. Now I have to catch a tick-off. So at the moment, actually, Lopez is in P3, and I think he'll have that secure, really, unless Willows has an answer, but I don't think he will. Well, he might, actually, if he gets his tyres warmed up, but it's very interesting, actually. So at the moment, Joseph Willows has said, is not on the podium. That's not good for him. Lincoln Parner is in for his final stop of the race as well. We've got a yellow flag out, and it's the Toro Rosso of Enis Barachki, who is out of this race, and it seems to be a mechanical failure. That seems to be a very unusual place to have an accident, so I believe it is a mechanical failure for him. And yep, it is an electrical failure for Barachki's car goes past, and there's that wheel there, just on the outskirts, as Volker has actually finally got past Titkoff and De Rossa in their battle. But Barachki, I mean, the Toro Rossos have not really had the pace this weekend. They've been running pretty much just outside of the points all race, really. It just never looked like they were going to get anything from it, and unfortunately for Barachki, he ain't going to get anything from it. That is his race over, done and dusted. So there we go. His race is over. That is the 3rd retirement of this Grand Prix as well. The cars that this season have been very reliable. Now we're looking at Mackenzie coming in for his final stop of the race for Renault. So changing all 4 tyres, out he comes, and he's one of the. I think he's probably going to be one of the last drivers actually to pit, I think. So as he's coming towards the pit exit, he will come out ahead, it looks like, of Sontag. So he is going to get into the points. So Sontag at the moment just missing out on the points in 11th. Roke is actually behind him in 12th, but I think he has to pit before the end as well. So it's been a good recovery, I'd say, by Roke actually, but it'll all be for nothing because he has to pit. Look at Sontag, who seems to be a bit all over the place at this moment in time. Roke is going to be right behind him, I think, as they're coming on to the pit straight. Byrne is in the pits as well. So the question is actually, is Roke on the back of Sontag? Not sure unless we swap to Roke's camera view. But Sontag is coming towards the pit straight. We've only got 10 laps to go of this race. And it is only 4/10, but Roke I don't think is quite close enough to make the move. But as I said, Willis is not exactly gaining on him at the moment, but Sontag at this moment in time is running in 10th position. Roke is just behind, but of course he has to pit. Roke's had again another decent recovery from the unfortunate incident with Jones, but unfortunately he was never really going to get any points, but he's had a good recovery nonetheless. But Sontag at this moment in time is running in the last points position in 10th, but he has Evan Byrne behind him, who is probably going to try and close up and make the move, but we'll have to wait and see if he does or not. At this moment, Carr has got the gap, it seems, to Volker, as he has done pretty much the whole race. Ever since the start, he just slowly but surely just got away from him. And yes, it looks to be pretty good for Carr right now, but of course we've still got 9 laps to go. As we know in the GP4 OC, anything could happen. So, as we look at, you can see Roke obviously still in the pits. He's down in 16th position as he comes out the pits. But we're now on to the final lap of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Amar Kar is your leader of this race. And he won in 2016, the first ever European Grand Prix in the first race at Baku for the top class of the OC. He won last season for Red Bull in 2017, and now it looks like he is going to continue his winning streak in Baku and win all 3 races here around the tight and twisty streets. He will be the king of the castle. It will be Carr's castle, that is for sure. And the gap, actually, down to 2 seconds actually, between him and Volker. So Volker has actually gained a little bit, but it's just not going to be enough. Amar Kar just has what it takes to win it around here. This is his baby. This is his circuit. And he's once again set to take another victory. He's second in a row as well, having won last time out in China. And Amar Kar is going to certainly have an opportunity to fight for the title if he really keeps this form up. As he's coming around onto the straight, the gap is said coming down, so it looks like Volker gaining a little bit on Carr, but it's just not going to be enough. Amar Kar coming now through the last couple of corners onto the front straight, and Amar Kar, he won in 2016 in the European Grand Prix. He won last year in the first ever Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and he's going to win again in Azerbaijan and take his 3rd victory out of 3 races here in Baku. What a performance by Carr. The one-stop played out well for him. Volker coming across the line in 2nd position. Moinchin, unfortunately, disappointed 15th for him. As we look at the rest of the order, Tomaselli down in 16th, actually. I thought he was actually a lot higher than that earlier on, but apparently not. Franco Lopez, P3, I think he'll be pretty happy with that. Willow's disappointing at P4, having led a lot of the race. Hutter just behind him in P5. Milascal not that far away either. In P6 it was still fairly close really between them. Gabriel Gomez, shout out to him. A fantastic performance for Sauber. He's going to take 7th place, and actually he will hold off Tiravi now Tiernan for 7th position. A great result for him. So, and now Tiernan didn't put a bad performance in either, but you probably would have thought he might have caught Gomez at the end. But Jay McKenzie is set to take some points for Renault. He'll take 9th position. I think he'll be relatively satisfied with that. As the laps tick off. And Ozzy Titkoff and De Rossa have been in a battle for a lot of this race, really. But as McKenzie comes across the line, and of course he will come across the line in 9th. As we're looking at this battle, actually this is between Byrne and Sontag. Sontag in 10th at the moment as they head towards the line. Byrne side by side with Sontag. Who is to get the last point? Will it be Sontag or will it be Byrne? It's going to be pretty close, but I think Sontag has it. And yes, by 73 thousandths of a second, Sontag holds off Byrne for 10th position. And shout out to Sontag as well for a great performance from him on the one stop. I wasn't sure if he was going to get anything from this race, but fair play. It worked out for him pretty well. Campana was across the line there in 12th, Roke in 13th position. Fortunately, wasn't going to get anything from that incident with Jones earlier on. Very unlucky. Laura Chung, very average race from her. Saw nothing really of note from her, but there we are. Amar Kar is your race winner. So here is the full race results from Baku. Amar Kar winning ahead of Florian Volk in second, Franco Lopez in third, Durs was in fourth, Joel Hudson in fifth, who actually set the fastest lap of the race as well, actually. Miklas Gau in sixth, Gabriel Gomez seventh, Jeremy Naucher in eighth, Jeremy McKenzie ninth, Felix Sontag 10th, just beating Evan Byrne for the last point. And the rest of the order, Lincoln Parner was of course in 12th, George Rock 13th, and Laura Trunk 14th. Actually, Laura Trunk the last car on the lead lap, actually 14 cars. Roland Moichin 15th, Palina Tomaselli 16th, De Rossi 17th, Maxime Titkov 18th, Roberto Gamba 19th, with Enis Barachki, Franco Gamba, and Etienne Jones, the drivers who did not finish this race. Now we'll take a look at the drivers and constructor standings after Baku. So Franco Lopez still leads the standings, but it's now down to 8 points thanks to that win by Carr, who was ahead of his teammate Willows into second. Willows 6 points behind his teammate Carr. Volker a bit further down in fourth. Hudson 5th. Gall in 6th. Gamba 7th. Now Chudden moving up to 8th ahead of his teammate Moichin. McKenzie up to 10th, moving ahead of his teammate Byrne as well. Looking at the rest of the order, Gomez up to 12th after a great performance. Tomaselli 13th. Gamba 14th. Roke 15th. Parachki 16th. Chung 17th. Jones 18th, Sontag moving up to 19th, getting his first points finish of the season. Titkov 20th, Lincoln Parner 21st, and De Rosso, what has been a pretty awful season for him so far, in last position. So now we'll take a look at the Constructors' Championship. So Ferrari leading by just 9 points ahead of Mercedes, and Red Bull way further back in third. Haas still fourth actually, just ahead of Force India by 1 point. Renault in 6th, Sauber in 7th, McLaren 8th, Toro Rosso in 9th, Manor in 10th, and Williams in 11th, but at least every manufacturer has scored points this race. So there we are, that was the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, not the most thrilling of races I have to say, but let's hope for a better race next time out, the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. Thanks for watching guys, we'll see you then. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for driver of the day and give the race rating out of 10. Thank you for watching guys, don't forget to check out all our links in the description. See you there.